All right, here we go. November 5th, heading on out to the hunting property. Got about a mile and a half to go, and I'll be rolling in, taking the old dirt road back to the old staging area. Gonna get dressed, head on down to the stand, and hopefully see a deer. This deer season's been extremely rough on myself. I've actually hunted quite a bit with really no luck. No shooters within sight or within range. I have had a shooter come through, but it was really, really dark, and probably could have shot him, but couldn't film him. And the rest of the rut has been, unfortunately, very slow. 15 plus hours in a row. I have recently hunted morning, night, with very few buck sightings. And I mean, the bucks that I am seeing are just little teeny tiny ones, and I think I'm seeing them over and over as I bounce from property to property. And I think that's part of the problem that I've had. I've kind of jumped around a lot. Normally when I hunt the rut, I'll just pick a spot that's got some good deer activity or a good buck living in the area, and I pretty much just grind it out. But I've got a couple new places to hunt this year, so I'm missing my entrance. So I've been kind of exploring and looking at new properties and spending some time out there, and I think that's probably been why I've just basically not getting very lucky at this point of the season, or during the rut. I just feel like it's a lot of luck. You know, my stands are in place, everything is set, my scouting is done, the food is in the ground, and now it's just waiting for a good one. But hey, we're not giving up, we're going after it. If we can get back here, this road is really tough. But yeah, so I'm kind of getting pulled down to this south end of my property here. It's a spot where I was successful last year on a nice buck, November 9th. It is a food plot, but I really made this place, or kind of carved this little area out more for shooting lanes versus a food plot. And then because I had opened it all up and knocked some of the cedar trees down, I said, well, I might as well go ahead and plant it. So I did plant clover in there. And for the wind that we have today, I think it's going to work well, and I'm basically in between two different bedding areas. So I think if there are any bucks out cruising, they should kind of want to check this area. It's also not far from some big destination cornfields on either side of it, so a lot of good things going on there. But anyway, we are just pulled in. I just pulled in, and I am about 100 yards from where I park, if I can make it down this muddy road, and then we will get dressed and start heading to the woods. I'm running a scotch late, but shouldn't be too bad. I should be able to make it. Ooh, might need 4. All right, let's get ready. Let's rock and roll. It's like daylight back here by plow truck, but we got a nice frosty morning. I'm really loving the conditions. Not a lot of wind right now, but the wind is supposed to pick up 15 plus miles an hour, which is perfect for me, because I'm in a squeaky old ladder stand, and there's nothing worse than being in a squeaky old ladder stand when there's no wind. Anyway, let's get dressed. Set up in the tree. I got deer all over. I'm gonna shut this light down. I already had one run through the plot. Got one right there. All right, well, I'm all set up, ready to go. I think I got a pretty good situation going on. As I was getting set up, I had a doe run through the food plot. She never really saw me or spooked. She just kind of ran through. About 5 minutes later, I had a big buck walk right in behind me. And he came out and kind of looked for her and then went back. So what I think's happening is these deer downwind of me. But if she is truly hot, she just left a nice scent trail right through the middle of the plot, which could work out really nice if something else hits it. But it was a good buck, and he came in
looked around. I had my lights on, but he never really spooked. He just kind of walked back. So he's looking for her, and they're right in front of me from what I gather. But perfect conditions. Nice, cool, crisp, frosty morning, overcast skies. Should be a good sit. All right, well, it's been a little while since I've seen any deer. You know, I had that button buck come through, and then I had a little 5-pointer kind of cruise back and go the other direction. But I definitely think that buck and that doe are kind of to my south. I don't think a lot's moving today, at least not here. They're just kind of going real slow and milling around. But I'm going to try to hit the rattle bag together and see if I can call them over, potentially pique something's interest. So let's try that. Sounded pretty good.
I'm sitting here this morning having one of those days going, nothing is working. I've had such a long rut season. I'm struggling to see a deer with antlers. I've had nothing but small bucks, little bucks, does. I had this button buck underneath me for forever. And I said I'm gonna give it till 11 o'clock. My daughter's at home by herself with my mother-in-law helping out, doing Christmas decorations. My son's at a hockey tournament with my wife. It's Sunday afternoon. I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna regroup, go home, get my stuff together, recharge my batteries, bring my daughter lunch, and I'm gonna get back out and try something different. I'm gonna go back to ground and pound. Well, all my stuff is in my pack. My bow's on the quiver, or my quiver's on the bow. I'm just about to lower it down, and I look right here, and here's the giant 9. The giant 9 with the big fork sneaks through there. I mouth grunt him back. I take my backpack off. I pull out my GoPro. I don't know if I was able to make the shot happen on video or not. I probably have something. I don't know. But it was the deer I've been after all year, the big 9. And here's the crazy part. I don't even hunt him on this piece of property. I hunt him on the other property that's like 2 miles away, and he seems to be a resident over there. I was hunting yesterday expecting that deer to be the one that actually shows up. And what do you know? I just smashed the absolute giant, heart shot him. I just watched him go down. He's dead right where my buck died last year. I mean, I saw spraying blood coming out of him. Just an absolute gorgeous deer. Oh my gosh. Well, I finally made it happen. All right, well, let me break this down here really quick. So when I got in this morning, I had a buck in and around me. I couldn't figure out what was going on. Sure enough, there was a scrape open right in front of me. And then I just noticed this one right here. So the buck came down this path, and then I think he might have spotted me up in my tree. It's really hard to see me, but I had my light on and I was kind of messing around. The doe had already run off. So this trail right here is one that I mowed that goes back into the woods that they typically use a lot of. Well, he was coming down it, and then I don't know what he was doing, but he actually went in right here. There's an old rub right here. So he went in there. He was gonna leave. I was gonna leave. I was getting all packed up, and he wound up coming this way down this trail, and I was thinking he was gonna go right there. So I put my little GoPro on that little opening thinking he was gonna walk right underneath me. Well, he did like what some of the other deer do. They came in down this trail right here. There's my arrow. And there's my stand. So let's see, from impact, or from the arrow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 yards. 7 yards, that's what I like. All right, so grab the arrow. Old trusty Spitfire XXX. That's what it's supposed to look like. That's what it's supposed to look like. Hope it doesn't have CWD. I really wish I was able to record that with my big camera. But when you're deer hunting, things don't always work out as planned. But this spot is actually pretty cool. So what it was there's just this high point here. And during the rut, the deer always like to cross it. So I had come in here with a mower. I brush mowed all of it down, took a bunch of trees down, and basically created bigger shooting lanes. Well, I decided to plant it. And it's worked out. Does like to stay in here, keeps them around. You can see. All right, I'm done talking. Let's get to walking up on this deer. See, this is the trail he took, I think. Absolutely spraying on both sides. Exactly. I see him. No need to continue on trailing.
He is down, and he is a giant. Oh, look at that deer. Look at that deer. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. What a stud. Yeah! Oh man, what a deer. Here's what's crazy. I just realized who this deer is. This is the same deer that came flying through the food plot last year with a broken side. I can tell by the way his beams are. Last year, the same day, same morning, he came running through the food plot. And today he's going the different direction, but same day, November 6th. Unbelievable. And he got a whole heck of a lot bigger. What a beaut. What a beaut. Oh my gosh. Sweet. Look at that buck. What a giant. What an absolute giant. Oh my gosh, what an absolute giant. What an absolute stud. Oh boy, who's calling? Hello. Pulling up. Okay, bye. Alright, rolling up on the big dog. Get Czar's reaction.
I love this. This is like coming up on Miller's deer the other day, dude.
Look at that thing. Woo!
What a stud, dude.
Dandy, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, this is totally that deer. This side, you can see it.
You're making me nervous.
Why? No, I'm not. We've done this a million times, Alf.
All right, well here he is, the no-name buck. What's interesting about this deer is I actually have been hunting him a mile away. Got a few trail camera pictures of him early in the season, and he's actually been my main target. A lot of the big bucks in the area have been dropping like flies lately, and I specifically was hunting after this deer. Hunted him yesterday, last night, never came through, and decided to change it up and go to one of our favorite little honey hole properties. And sure enough, I was having one of those days when I was hunting today. I didn't really see a whole lot. I had one little buck come through. I had a button buck hanging out, but I knew there was a good one in the area because when I was getting set up, I had a nice buck come behind me and kind of just mosey on off, and it turns out he was making a scrape, and I believe it to be this deer. I could tell he had a pretty good rack. So sure enough, 11 o'clock rolls by. That was the time I was going to call it quits, go back home and charge the batteries. So I ended up throwing all my stuff back in my backpack and literally looked up as I was lowering my bow down to the ground, and there he was, kind of scooting away from me. And I almost decided at that point just to let it go because I wasn't able to film it. And I said, you know what? I got a GoPro. Let me see if I can get him really, really close, within 5 or 10 yards. And sure enough, I thought he was going to come to the backside of my tree, which is where he was earlier this morning, and I did a couple mouth grunts. He ended up coming right in front of me, and I ended up shooting him at 7 yards. I was able to capture the shot over the shoulder, and perfect arrow placement. Hit him right in the boiler room, watched him run off, and he only made it about 60 yards from the stand. So couldn't be happier. Just probably one of my better bucks with bow and arrow. And the other crazy thing is this deer is a buck that had come by me last year that I almost shot, but he had his G3 broken off one side, and I ended up killing a 9-pointer that night. But super pumped. Really cool buck, lots of character, double brows. He's got 12 scoreable points. He's not busted. Cool color. Not really sure how old he is, but at this point we don't really care. He's gonna wind up on my wall.
Nice work.
It's fucking just a cool bow kill, you know?
Great.
Fucking
Great deer. Great deer.
thank you, sir. That was fun.
Buck in the truck.
Buck in the truck.
Tagged and legal.
What do you think, Czar?
Nice one. Nicely done, sir.
Thank you.